Hello, thinkers. Welcome back to the Apex Mind. Today, I bring you the final installment of episode 1 of the Apex Arena. Remember, if you also want to be part of these conversations, if you want to debate with me, discuss with me, all you need to do is you need to send an email at my email address. It's here somewhere, and it'll also be in my video description. And you can always comment down below. Let me know your thoughts, let me know what you think about this discussion, and let me know if there is something that you want to discuss with me or debate with me. In this final installment, we wrap up our conversation about Krishna, Bhagavad Gita, and morality, and we do that by the most interesting part of it all. Is Krishna himself bound by his own laws?
Yes, I agree, of course, but the actual application is different rather than knowing what comes before it, which means that I agree that this may be a system in which I can function in a better mental state, but agreeing that this might have been the reason is a bit, absurd because I might say that, okay, this would have been the fate, so I will not be in that state for a long time. I will not be sad for a much time. I will move on. But that does not mean that whatever goes on in the reasoning of why that event happened was true, which means I can see at the murders, the victims, and say that, okay, I will just move on. Okay, I feel sad, but let's just move on. So this can be a philosophically active state, but to say that they had it in their fate and therefore it's justified is, I think, a bit
No,
problematic, and that's what
it's
actually karma is.
justification is not the point, right? They had it in their fate, it was already ordained to happen, and therefore it is okay. Okay and
Yes, but
justified
who
are
ordained
like
it?
different. No one ordered that their past actions. The world functions independently of any god. Even Krishna himself had karmic debts to pay off. That is the reason he died in such an unceremonious way. That is the reason Sri Ram had such a unceremonious ending to himself also. Even God cannot escape karma. It is a system that exists, right? Everyone has a backlog of what their history is, and that history dictates some of their life, and their actions dictate the rest of their life. And there is like a threefold system: agami karma, then there is the sanchita kara karma, and there is another karma. So it's
Yes,
all
but
there.
it becomes a definitional problem where I sit here, I say that I cannot do anything because I am bounded by the laws of physics. Now, God will sit there and say that I am bound by the laws of karma, but
Right.
that literally makes him non-absolute. So it just tells me that there will be a God, and there will be a God of that God, and it will go up to infinity.
Okay. Let's take a example of AI or any like simulation kind of things. The developers create like things, right? They are working on systems, they're creating things, but they, even the developers don't technically have 110 control on every single aspect of everything. Sometimes the
And that's why they
engine
are
that has
not
been
called omnipotent.
omnipotent is a very like different thing within like Hinduism than it is in like Abrahamic faiths. Their
Yes,
god
that's
might as well be. That is the reason they have the problem of evil also, right? Because they
they,
claim the god as
we
benevolent, uh, because
we
they
also
claim.
have it in the Bhagavad Gita as the problem. He says he
Uh,
he also claim omnipotence. He also claims
I get,
omniscience.
yeah, and that is the issue here. It's not because our reference point of any omnipotent or like omniscience is the Abrahamic God. When similar words are uttered here, obviously we're going to like loan that definition and put that interpretation onto here,
Yes, but
right?
the word omniscient is not used here. Whatever we can say about what Krishna said is that I know about all the beings that have lived, that are living, and that will live. So that's not ambiguity in any sense. That's purely equivalent to what omniscience means in even
So
Abrahamic religions.
so do I. That is the point. Even I know all the beings that have lived, which will live, and which are going to die. How do I know this? Simply because, again, the universe exists within my mind, in the sense that there is nothing as such. once my point of view ends, right? When I was born, or whenever I became conscious, before it, whether or not there is a universe, is something that I'm agreeing upon based on what people are telling me. For all I know, like, that is not the case. My senses are unreliable, right? Experience starts happening, and then experience ends. And even there is no sense of kind of time also dilates within the experience, right? Even your sense of time is based on memories, which again can be falsified. So therefore you exist in a sort of what do you call, beyond time state. There is no past or future, those are based on memories. Then even those memories are coming out of other things. Experience itself is happening, so you're in an ever present state, you are in a non temporal state of being. So the, the point with Krishna is, again, it's supposed to be a realized person. That is the reason he can't later on recall everything he said in the Bhagavad Gita. It was like, this happened, right? So because when he says that he is God, he's technically correct in that sense. You, if you get that sort of realization, if I get that, but technically for me I am God, right? This book, it's a book, right?
No, but
It's
how,
got
I'm not understanding how are you kind of justifying that omniscience with not being equal to Abrahamic omniscience?
the reason
Because
it is,
the explicity
because
of that statement.
yeah, because in Abrahamic uh, God, right, it's a very literal way of being outside of the universe, and the universe existing as things that he manipulates. That is the
No,
main
no,
thing,
no.
at least
I'm
that
not,
is,
I'm just purely talking of omniscience here.
right.
Nothing except. So that is, I think, purely same. I don't see any difference.
I think I'm mostly focusing on how that like functions within the particular uh, faiths, right? Because their God's omniscience is always treated as what do you call, doer kind of omniscience, where he does things. That is how he always begins, right? And this omniscience is less so about doing things on the basis of the omniscience, but just knowing things, because ultimately it's all just you.
Yes, but do you think that, and also I think again in Bhagavad Gita it says that, if you do some adharmic deeds, then you get birth in inferior wombs. Basically, you get inferior births of other animals who get pain in their life. So basically, in Abrahamic religions, as we see that there is hell. In Hinduism, in Bhagavad Gita, we see that there is not a hell, but we get different births in different animals. So, this system where I am going to be basically punished, because, of course, as a human being, I think I'm the most privileged amongst all animals. So, there are other animals and they are killed, so they are basically in a very state of pain. So that's what birth I am given if I do adharmic deeds in this birth. So this is, I think, functionally indistinct than the hell which is there. Either it's the hell is basic difference is that hell is eternal, the birth is finite.
Yes.
So that's the, I think, main difference here. But this system, I am talking about this entirety of system which is there, and I suppose that because Krishna says that I am the source of everything, it may be applying here that he is the source of this system. So if that's the case, then what will happen is that, let's give you one example here.
Sure.
Let me just invert my camera. Okay, let's just talk in words. I cannot do it right now. Uh, let's say I am going to do a thing which is Y. Okay, let's say it is Y. And before I do it, Krishna says that I know it, right?
Right.
Before I even do it, Krishna says that I know that you will do it. So can I not do it? So the basic question is that, because Krishna knows perfectly that this person is going to do these things, I cannot do it otherwise. So which means that the so-called adharmic things which are going to be done by several people, let's say I'm going to do an adharmic thing, and before even I do it, let's say I'm going to do it 10 years, 10 days later, and Krishna knows it right now.
Right.
So the thing is, my future is fixed because his knowledge cannot be false. So because his knowledge has to be perfect, and he knows that 10 days later I'm going to do this adharmic thing, I must do that adharmic thing. So I'm
Right.
asking the question whether I am the ultimate responsible who is doing that adharmic thing, or is his foreknowledge the thing which is making it impossible for me to not do otherwise. Which means that basically all the adharmic things which can be done are done already in his mind. And he also says in the Bhagavad Gita that, don't worry of killing them because they are already killed in the
Right.
system of overall. So basically what he says is that I know, therefore you must do it, right? And
Right.
it's not even some compulsion. I'm just saying that even though I have my free will, but because the future is set by what he knows, I must follow his, whatever he
Right.
knows. I cannot falsify it. It's impossible. So uh, I think that, let's give an analogy because I think that this is becoming very abstract. What
Yeah.
will happen is that if I am going to become a parent, let's say I want to become a parent, and
Right.
I take a time machine and I go 30 years later in the future, I see that if I get a child, it's becoming a criminal again, a murderer. And I come back in my timeline, 30 years again back, and I say that, okay, I have two choices now. Either I will choose to create that child or I will not. Now,
Right.
if I create that child, I know that he is going to cause those, ruthless things. So by creating him, I fix all that future. I make it impossible for that child to do otherwise. So whatever the murder would have happened after the child becomes a man or woman, the thing is that I am the ultimate cause. I have I had all the opportunities to not create that child. I knew whatever is going to happen, but I still endorsed that into existence. So
Yes.
what I'm saying is that we can hold God's position as similar, right? He knew that, let's say I am the one who is going to do an adharmic thing, and for that adharmic thing, I am going to be born in a very painful animal's birth, where I am going to be killed ruthlessly. So Krishna knows that Vivaswan is going to do a very adharmic thing, but he still chooses to create my soul, let's say. So he chooses to create my soul and he puts me on earth and he makes it impossible for me to not do that adharmic thing. So basically, he fixes my future. So I'm asking the question whether I am the ultimate, I'm the ultimate responsible, or is he the ultimate responsible for bringing me into existence? Because he also knew for me, for Adolf Hitler, that Hitler is going to kill 6 million Jews. And still he said, oh, no problem, I will just get him into existence and I don't
Sure.
give a hell about anything. So I just will create him. So that's what is problematic when you give an omniscient character to God.
Okay. So, like a couple of things, right? In the Judeo-Christian understanding of God, their God is separate from man, right? The God is never the same as man. Not quite the case in Dharma, right? Uh, Most extensive metaphysics is, I think, around Kashmiri Shaivism and Advait, but let's just go for Kashmiri Shaivism, right? Everything is Shiva, and when Shiva recognizes different parts of himself, that is that becomes different consciousnesses, and that is the different beings and things within the universe. So that is essentially the reason Krishna is omnipotent, omniscient, and whatever is because Krishna is you as well, right? That is the reason he knows everything. That is the reason everything is there, and this uh, differentiation is a falsity. Now let's talk from your individual point of view, or let's say it's that whatever you do, right, it is again your previous karmas and samskaras. To an extent, they push you to a certain direction, and then you make certain choices also, and ultimately it's a cycle. Whether you suffer, whether you enjoy, at the end of the day you're going to return to God to remember, oh shit, I am God. That is going to happen, whether in this birth, the other birth, the other birth. It is the main thing. This is just imagine God or Krishna like Aparichit. Have you seen that movie, Aparichit? So it's basically consider it like a dissociative identity disorder, multiple personality disorder. Like he has like all of these different states. Sometimes he's you, sometimes he's me, sometimes he's all of that. And as far as the free will thing is considered and the morality thing is considered, even if I do assume Krishna to be, let's say, like a Judeo-Christian god, right, and he is the one who's creating and like giving birth to you and whatever, to you these things are a like big deal. Like whatever is happening in the world, whether it's the Hitler thing, whether it is whatever you are doing, from his vantage point it is nothing, because he sees everything,
From
right?
whose point?
It's a From Krishna's point of view, from his vantage point, this is, or any god's vantage point for that matter, not even Krishna, for from even a Judeo, like from any god's point of view, it is like, okay, cool, you do your thing, you do murder, you do whatever, people are going to get killed, big deal, because it's a game. Essentially, it's not real. None of this is real. Eh, People there are not real, and it's a very like detached point of view, in the sense that there is equal parts evil, there is equal parts good. You're going to start with Satyuga, it will slowly degenerate into Kali Yuga, then it will end, then another Yuga, Satyuga will become, and this is such a canon event that it cannot be changed. It is just the way the world works, and it is there for balance, it is there for whatever reason, but it is the cosmic law of sorts. That is the reason he can view all of those different things. He knows what is going to happen because it always happens. And big deal, it's only a big deal in a very specific point of view, in a very specific context, in a very very small understanding of the world. Only then can you be like, oh shit, that guy in front of me, he got stabbed, that shit is evil. You say that this is your point of view, but like any like deity of sorts who's ordaining the world, their point of view is going to be completely different. Specifically a deity who's neither good nor bad technically.
Yes, and that's why I don't call him God, because it is indifferent whether I believe in him, not believe in him, I do bad things, not bad things. But the problem comes that, you know, it does not matter to him when I'm doing it, but it
Right.
matters to him when I'm done doing it. That's the problem with me. So imagine, to have an analogy, I am sitting in a room where, there are 10 guys again killing a girl, and I'm just sitting there. I'm just sitting there. I have all the power to stop those 10 guys from doing these things. I'm sitting on this chair and saying that, oh, this is very small for me. I'm very bigger than these things. I'm sitting there and just watching them do it. Now, having all those powers to stop them, I am a much more bigger criminal than they are. So what
Okay.
I'm saying is that if a person does these things, that he sits just watching these things, then he is called a greater evil than those people who are doing it actually, because he
According,
had all the power to stop them. So
again.
what I'm saying is that when I say that there is such a God who, for whom it's very small thing, or it is very insignificant for him, that these things are happening, they will always happen, so let's just ignore them. But so let's say there is an event which is just stabbing someone, and so that let's consider that, what should we, let's consider it mathematically as zero. Okay, so for God, because it is indifferent or insignificant for him, let's consider it as zero. Now it has no value, no face value for God, because it is very insignificant. Now, somehow, when that zero happens many times, when that zero becomes, as let's say many people are doing those zeros. So somehow God thinks that, okay, now the unrighteousness is raised. So the zero has somehow adding up and becoming one. And now I will come and establish righteousness again. So what I think here is that if one action is insignificant for God, then it's mathematically impossible for him to say that when so many actions come together, it is becoming a significant thing. It's impossible. If you consider one action zero and have 100 zeros, they will add up and still be zero. So,
Sure.
for a God to come and say that, okay, this action is insignificant, I will not come. But then, if very dangerous matters happen, if Ravana like creature comes, I will now come on the earth and then I will reincarnate and set an example. So, that's what I feel as absurd that a God thinks that this is insignificant, but then after sometimes he feels that it is significant, even though logically he should not feel as such.
Okay, so are you aware of the how universe is visually in Hindu metaphysics, like how they like describe it?
Basically, from Bhagavad Gita's point of view, whatever there is written, literally speaking, he says that, yada yada hi karmas, yada. So he
Yeah,
says that whenever righteousness.
that's
So
okay.
from that perspective, I'm saying that,
It's his job.
and you say
It's his
that it
job to
feels like,
come and balance things out when it's not like he does it out of some sort of what do you call, oh, I am doing good, or good must be done. I mean, the concept of good is very tumultuous for like a deity
no, no, no,
of
not
that,
not good. But the only reason, then why does he come? Explain, or let's
because
just answer
society
me
is
in
not
one line
supposed
that
to
why does he
collapse,
come?
because society was is not ordained to collapse at that moment, right? It's like entropy. Like there are in the universe there are like forces like dark energy. There is like that, and two three other I think dark energy is the force which is pushing the universe outwards, and the reason things are still together is because of electromagnetism, because of nuclear I think there is nuclear and some form of nucleus thing, and then there is another third form of energy. These three are keeping the universe together. It is that. So assume that this is going to end, right? Why do you think even though God comes all this time, it does not eradicate it completely to the point that no more evil comes? Every single time he comes, afterwards things get worse. It keeps getting worse. He's taken like what, 8 avatars, and things still keep getting worse because this is preordained. He's just here to be like, okay, calm down, put some brakes. I'll do away with the recent mess, and you can go keep continuing. At the end of the day, the 10th avatar is supposedly going to come and supposedly supposed to like wipe everything away. Like most people are going to die, mass genocide of sorts, and only like some people are going to remain, and then another Satyuga and thing will happen. Although the whole concept of Kalki is not very solid, but that's more or less the same thing. He is just here to make sure things go according to script. They don't go, people don't overact too much, the things don't
Yes,
happen,
and the script
and
and
even
the,
him coming is part of the script. Even that is something which is already pre-written. The moment a god comes within an avatar, he is then bound by his own karma within this world. It's like a developer entering a game with his own character. He still is
yes, yes.
affected by the physics engine, right? Even if he puts cheat codes and stuff, he's still affected by the physics engine of the game. It's kind of like that. The karma system is that physics engine.
Yes, and that's why I feel it as, very, from my perspective, morally absurd to, have, because a developer can come and say that, okay, I have a game which I made, now I'm going to play in it, I'm going to just endorse myself in it. And what will happen that it's, we know that the players are not, physically experiencing pain.
Right.
God being a very out of the dimensions thing, he knows that we are the one who are going to experience pain. And he still thinks that this game is somehow to be continued to infinity. He still says that I will eradicate 99.9999% of the evil and let the 0.1% evil be there so that it can proliferate one day and become a great evil so that I can again come back and show how good I am and show how great I am to just glorify myself and
It's
then go
like
again back. So the main question comes that why didn't he just, actually collapse all the evil all at once? Like
because
even
that's not
he
supposed to
doesn't
happen,
need to actually come in the script and then do it, right? He can
right?
change the code itself.
Because God is not a superhero. God is God. God is not here to be Superman to end all wars and be like, that is the problem, right? People confuse, because of, again, Abrahamic conception of God, people confuse God with some sort of like a superhero, Superman here. Okay, I'm going to fight crime and stop evil. According to what morality? Who is dictating morality? Where is that coming from? Again, go up to God. That's ultimate truth. There is a see, society, there are two things which are ordained, right? Cosmic balance should happen, not cosmic good, cosmic balance, right? Good and evil should be balanced. That is and that is only done when people do their job and society functions as it does, right? And that is dharmic order, basically society functioning as it does. And the second thing is, and the more important thing is, get to truth. Let society keep
Yeah, but
functioning,
what
get to
what
truth.
imbalance will happen if all the evil is erased?
It's not uh, it's not going to happen, in the sense that it cannot happen. That is the point. Even think about it like this: even even after Kali Yuga, when evil is there and it is completely wiped off, and Satyuga happen, evil still slowly seeps in. It's like entropy. It is never going to go away. It is a universal law. It is a universal constant. It is like death. This is like saying, why does no, a god doesn't come on earth and he just stops all death, stops all suffering, and we are just like happy go lucky marrying around in heaven? That is not the point of life, right? The point of life is ultimately realizing, oh shit, this is lie. Like, what is truth? Let's get to truth. That is the point. You are, in all senses of the word, you are God. There is this not you. There is no you. That is the main thing, that any path, be it bhakti, be it raja, be it gyan, be it dhyan, all the different yogas, all the different tantric practices, all the different schools of thought, they are trying to reach the same end goal in Sanatan Dharma, which is non-duality, which is truth, in a sense. Trying to reach truth. That is all there is. This is a form of seeking.
So basically, are you saying that even God cannot end all the evil?
Yeah, because God isn't uh, a separate entity. God is evil. I think that will make more sense. God is evil, God is good, God is everything. So God cannot end God in that sense.
So, but if you try to, conceal this and say that I worship Krishna, why do you worship the one who is the source of all evil?
I just want to reach truth. That's all there is to it.
But how is that
I
even a truth where it contains all the miserable things, all the pains? And let's
truth.
say you were to propose that, there is something called truth seeking. And
Correct.
so because there is freedom in this world, therefore people are able to choose evil, choose whatever they want to do. And the people who meaningfully choose the truth, they get to the truth. But
Right.
there most probably, and it's like a matter of fact that, like babies die, babies are killed. How do they even get a chance to actually seek that truth? And babies or human beings are far away from the animal suffering which happens in this world. Animal suffering, it's like the greatest possible conceivable suffering that can ever happen. So even they die, children die of leukemia or anyone, but how does that even contribute to a capability that will bring them about to have a seeking to the truth? Because I die, it's finished. How can I even just be that after dying I will choose the truth? It's impossible.
If you're a body, if you're a being, right, do your cells die periodically? Sometimes you like hit your hand like randomly in some place, you experience pain, maybe you have a blood clot, maybe like some of your skin gets sliced off. Do you you as your body, do you like sit there, mourn it, or do you like create a situation where none of my cells should die ever? No, what do you mean cells die after a point? No, every one of these should remain there. What? So that's the point of view difference here, right? This is just a
If
natural part
I
of being.
were if I were to be capable of saying that none of my cells should suffer, if I were knowing, okay, let's, your example is, I think, where cells do not actually experience pain. So if you were to equivocate it with God, that God experiences us as its cells, and so the problem becomes that cells first of all don't experience pain. We experience pain.
You
And the
experience
second
pain,
second problem is
but
that
your capacity to
God
experience pain is
can
like
do.
very different, right?
Yes, but God can actually change everything. I cannot. I cannot, save each of my cell. God can, by definition.
You cannot. Again, God is omnipotent only from your like point of view, if that makes sense. Anything within your world, God can change around, do whatever He wants with. That doesn't mean from His perspective He is omnipotent. For yourselves, you are omnipotent. For yourselves, you are the being that nourishes, you are the being that decides, you are the being that can cut them off also. Right? To them, you're omnipotent. And there is no conceivable way for a cell to think you're not omnipotent, because all they understand about the world is your omnipotence. From their POV, you are omnipotent. But you understand in this point of view that there are vulnerabilities that are just natural to just being. Just because you are living, your cells will die. They keep dying, new ones keep like getting created. This are all of this argument is, by the way, I think from Kashmiri Shaivism, but that is the point, right? Your your idea of good, your idea of evil, your idea of pain. Again, all of these things are very limited in perspective. Very limited. You don't uh, you you associate a like being which is supposedly the universe itself to have the same level of understanding, or even be capable of the same level of understanding as you are. Maybe you are so insignificant comparatively that you think, oh, this is evil, I am hurt. Maybe your cells are having a civil war right now on your hand. How the hell do you know that is not happening? But it is what it is. You are just still living, right? Oh, this aches today, I'll just put on some move. That is literally the avatar's function. Oh, this is happening, let's put on a bandage. Ultimately, even you are going to die, right? So that's just how things are. Your perspective is limited. The problem with assigning any form of human morality to things, any form of human centricism, is the same problem that science also always encountered. We believe we are the center of the universe, we believe our society is the main society, we believe that this is all there is, and we decide morality, we decide all of this. No, that is the thing, right? Like, even if we decide morality, we only decide morality for our particular society.
But don't you think that just like us, it limits what we call God as much as to just say that I am like this, therefore, just my cells think that I am omnipotent. But by omni-word, we mean that every logically possible thing. So,
Every logically
just
possible thing, right? Again, logic is limited within human understanding. Even within logic, we have like philosophical axioms and assumptions that we take. Things should make sense is a
yes, but
logical
logic is
axiom
you
within.
cannot actually falsify logic. It's impossible. Nor can God. No one can falsify logic.
No,
So let's say
logic
there
is
is
a philosophical assumption, right? Why should things
it's
make
not an
sense?
assumption. It's a
Why should
necessary
things make sense?
predicate to make sense of anything. You let's say
Again,
there is a law of
exactly,
non-contradiction.
exactly. The point is, again, why is making sense of anything true?
No, it's not true. It's necessary because let's say there is a law of non-contradiction. It is in logic. So P and not P cannot be true simultaneously.
Right? Why?
So, so that's the sense because if they are true at the same time, nothing will make sense. To make sense, to basically understand in the most basic way, we have to have some rules that cannot be at all falsified by no one, not even God. So
But
the question, the
again,
omnipotence paradox.
the
Have you heard
reason
of it?
we have a like a law of what do you call like non-contradiction is because the way that, again, like, is based on our brain's understanding of the world. It is based on our inductive capacity of looking at the world. Even the deductive reasoning itself is basis on how we understand things to work. Hell, quantum physics has, कहते हैं, sometimes breaks the law of non-contradiction. Things are both here and there.
Yes, yes, yes. But yeah, that the problem here is that they are here and there. Let's say they are in a superposition state, but that does not mean it's an electron and not an electron, which means it's an electron and a proton and state
we,
at the
we
same time.
couldn't
It's
we
not
couldn't
possible.
even we couldn't
Never.
even decide whether light was a like a particle or a wave, although I'm not very educated on this
Yes,
particular thing, but yeah.
the thing is that it was physical limitations, and it's not about that whether we conceive or we describe the universe from our brain's perspective. It necessarily has to be true that P and not P cannot be equal. It's just the thing that even God will come and say that from even his mind, it's impossible that these two things can be, the same at this time. So I have a pen here. It it is impossible for this pen to be a pen and not be a pen at the same time. It's impossible. It's basic things which are there. There is another logic, another law of excluded middle, right? The proposition P can, sorry, the proposition of P shall be true and false. It cannot be
Right.
both, it cannot be neither. So these are just basic things which are not human projections or human things,
They
because I can
logic.
think of many things that are, that created by human beings and are illogical or sort of
See,
like superstitious. But logic is like not even seen ever, that we have not even found one thing that breaks logic.
because when things do break logic, we stop considering them, or we may, I think, create ways around them. When the
No,
math
we
was
say that
breaking
if
for
it is
string
breaking logic,
theory,
it is
when
not
math was
correct.
breaking completely for string theory, and as I understand, math is based on logical axioms which are very fundamental to logic itself, then we started creating 26 dimensions to work our way around it.
Yes, yes, there is
Yes.
um an equation just so maths forces us sometimes to do such things,
Yeah. So
but
when
it's
logic
not saying that it's
when
logically
logic or
wrong.
when our foundational axioms they are questioned, or when our foundational axioms they stop working, we immediately assume things, we immediately start making abductive reasoning about the nature of reality, so that our foundations are not questioned, or they do not stop working.
Yes, but
That's
that never happened, nor neither in the string theory nor in any theoretical framework or anywhere. You can never find something that falsifies, let's say, the law of non-contradiction or the law of excluded middle. Nothing. Even mathematics is like basically just putting that laws into language, written
right.
language. So no theory or nothing. I think I cannot even think of anything, because there was an omnipotence paradox of, can God make a stone so heavy that he cannot lift it? So this question was answered by saying that this is
Yeah.
an illogical question, because God can do everything that is logically possible. So, you
No,
know,
no, no, the answer is
like
yes. The answer is yes.
how?
He can, because he's omnipotent.
Yes, but that's the problem. If he makes that stone, then he cannot lift it, so he's not omnipotent. If he
No,
cannot make that, then he cannot make it, therefore he's not omnipotent.
no,
So
he
it's a
can.
circular thing.
That's the thing. Na, the only way this stops this stops being true, that okay, this breaks omnipotence, is because you're relying on the backdrop of logic. And logic is ultimately based on our understanding of the world, how we've seen world works, and how we've abstracted that into logical axioms, right? These axioms or these
Yes,
fundamental
and the
understandings of the world, they originate in our observation of the world. We observe the world, then we abstract it, then we see the abstractions, then we see what rules those abstractions are based on, and then we are like, aha, that means this is fundamental. But this is only fundamental to your current understanding of reality, right? Logic itself will break. Perhaps if you enter a parallel universe which will have a different laws of physics, different everything, it will have different set of logic as well.
Logic's set cannot be different. It's impossible. Even God is based on logic. Even God cannot be out of logic.
It definitely can be. That is the point, right? The God is supposed to be like completely true. Like there is no logic applied to it. When okay, so when I told you my true what do you call truth definition, that the process of observing, witnessing, whatever, that is true. Experience is true, right? Uh, can you tell me what logical assumption am I taking here? What foundation is it based on?
If X, then Y.
What is the X? What is the Y?
If my uh, proposition of viewing the world, which is X, if that's true, then Y is the result that I am the only one which can with certainty said that I exist.
It's not all of that. It's simply that experience is happening. Experience. It's one word. Experience. I am not
So how
claiming
does
there
that
to be a
even
me. I am not claiming
qualify?
there to be a me either. I am not claiming there to be a world either. I am not claiming the nature of this experience also. I am not claiming what I am seeing is true also. I am just claiming experience. Observation. That's all.
Yeah, but observation has to have observer.
No, that is a logical assumption. That is based on the assumption of what do you call. I think there is a logical term for this also. Like it's based on inductive reasoning. At the end of the day, we see that every doer must have. Sorry, every deed must have a doer. It's that thing, right? It's causality. Maybe I think that is the one I'm trying to refer to.
Yes, but how can you have action without the doer of the
We
action?
we we can see that it is there. It is self evident. It is not requiring any
So,
assumption. When I do think that there must be a doer, now that is based on a assumption which is based in the logic. So logic is,
so
and that is why it is not
I am
true.
lifting this pen. So how I am not like let's say I am lifting this pen. If I say that I am lifting this pen, then I am. If I don't, then I don't. So how is that even making any sense? I'm literally lifting this pen.
How do you know you're lifting this pen? Is that not based on assumptions that what you're viewing, what you're feeling is true, that your senses are giving you an accurate information is what is happening to the pen?
Till today, they have given the accurate information.
How do you know they have till today given you an accurate information? How do you know this is all not constructed? So how,
Constructed does not matter to me. What things matter to me is that is what decision I am taking. Is it making me something which can be better than what I was yesterday? Let's say I am going to jump off the a bus is going and I want to jump off the bus.
right.
Now I have certain calculation that this car is coming from here. This is a little bit far away, and therefore I should right now walk off, or else it will come on me. So it's basic things that has always worked for me. I see this pen kept here. My brain is telling me it may be assumption. It may be that this
Yes.
pen does not exist here, or it may be that this all is simulation. But even if I'm in a simulation, what understanding I have is literally perfect because I have this pen here in my hand,
What what
and
what understanding you have is perfect within the simulation.
yes, within the simulation, and
Within the
therefore
simulation,
I
right?
don't. But
But
it
there is
doesn't matter whether we are in a simulation or we are not.
why? It matters
How
only
does
when
it
you're
even
talking
matter?
in terms of truth. It doesn't matter if all you're concerned is within the simulation, right? If that is all you're concerned with, fine. But if you're concerned with truth, then you need to know what is ultimately there, and that is the abstract
Yes,
concept of
but
truth.
the truth actually should actually give some meaning, give some outcome. If it just tells me that you're in a simulation, you're all meaningless. It's just the thing that you are
True.
observing. There is no truth value here. The truth value is within knowing that this is a simulation. It does not give me in any effective way something which I can, use in my life because anyways
That's an
in my
argument
let's
out
say
of
80 years
functionality,
70
right?
years
Like
of life,
utilitarianism. Oh, sorry, what am I saying? it's an argument out of utility, right? If something is not useful, does not make it not true. uh, Meaning serves the truth. Truth doesn't serve meaning. Meaning comes out of things being true. It's not the
Yes.
other way around.
Yes. But how does that this truth value that I'm in a simulation, let's say this is the ultimate truth,
with
how can it possibly give me any useful thing
with
in my next 50 years lifetime, rather than just knowing that this pen is here? I will consider this to be true even if it is not. I will consider if it is true. It will help me, and it will cause to do me anything I
Sure.
want and without any problem.
And that is, again, that is out of utility, and it is fine, right? Things can be useful to you, that is fine. But if you're arguing like about truth or what really is, then like it's a separate thing, right? But it's like formulas work, right?
I'm not arguing about whether truth is there or not. I'm purely saying that yes, there is truth. It may be all the simulation, but I'm just saying that even if it is a simulation, I don't see that whether it matters to me as to my life or not. So, because
I
it takes me very far away from any kind of God concept, any kind of philosophy, to just saying that this is all just simulation, so don't do anything. But
no.
I
So don't do anything as again like
yes,
again.
that may be a extension to what I said, but the main idea it's that it's not useful for me to even know that this may be a simulation.
I'm not.
That may be the truth,
Yeah, that's
but
fine.
it doesn't matter.
See, truth always matters, yes. Truth always matters. It might not matter for utility, right? It might not make your life easier. It might not make you like getting x amount of dollars easier. It might not make you being happy easier. I give you all of that, right? I'm not claiming any utility out of it. I'm simply claiming that there is a desire for truth which exists across cultures, which exists across traditions. Some people view it or try and reach it through spirituality. Others try and reach it through philosophy, and others try and reach it through science. At the end of the day, it is all philosophy. It is all, as philosophy could be divided into two words: love for wisdom. And because it is
Yes,
love
of
for
course.
wisdom, it's love for truth. It's all a human endeavor of seeking truth. That's all there is to it, and it matters because truth matters. Because mattering is an outcome of truth. It's like fundamental. We're trying to figure out the fundamental level. Might not matter for someone like if they're looking for utility, and that is fine. It's just a philosophical endeavor, and it
Yes,
lies at
because
the heart of
when I
human experience.
let's see someone got the knowledge of truth. It's for me, I see it as if, yes, 2 plus 2 is 4. Yes, a triangle is 180 degrees. Now, how does that make any difference in my life? I know it to be true that 2 plus 2 should be 4, but how is it anything different than not knowing it? So that's the main thing. Utilitarianism is not the thing which I heavily subscribe to, but just saying that, that is an absolute truth. Because let's say I am a Christian and I know that, if I believe in a God, then I will go to heaven, I will go to hell. I get all those perks in believing in God. So I have all those things, I have reasons to believe in a God. But if I have a concept of a truth, which is such an abstract concept, I see that okay, but it's not actually, it's indifferent whether I believe it or not. So let's just continue with the world.
Sure, and you are free to make that choice, and anyone is free to make that choice, right? These are the desire or the endeavor for truth is not like something which is a priority for everyone, but I do believe it is a priority at the center of the human experience, and like that is where we've always looked for, right? Because we understand, want to understand and reach truth or satya, as in dharma. Anyways, it's been like what 2 hours 15 minutes, so I think we should wrap this up, right?
Yes.
Was a great experience talking to you. We can talk more, like we can communicate via email, and we can schedule some other time also if you want to, right?
Yes, yes, of course.
And let me just do the outro real quick. So this was it, and I hope you had a good experience also. What was your experience of all of this?
Of course, I enjoyed, and I got a very different view of what uh, someone's definition of God can be. I came here as of thinking whether there would be a sky daddy kind of thing of God, and we will just argue upon that kind. But rather, we had not a theological discussion, but a philosophical discussion. Rather, going deep into philosophy rather than God concepts and everything. It was, I think, very good discussion, and I got the essence of what you wanted to say and what can be the essence of actual Hinduism, not as a theistic but non-theistic, not atheistic but non-theistic.
Yes, and I will always die on the hill that if you believe in truth, you have some sort of a theistic point of view, and the only real atheist is the nihilist. But anyway, very fun discussion. This took us like more than 2 hours. Let's see how I edit all of this out and to just do the intro. So as we did today, I would ask everyone else to do the same. Think, analyze, and always look for answers, and do it through looking at patterns, because patterns, they're everywhere.